Well, I have cut out Santa's face, which is piece number 26, and I've cut out his cute little red nose, which is piece number 27, and that just gets stitched down right there. There's no stuffing or anything, so it's just a simple stitch down there. And then when we come back, we will be embroidering and stuffing and appliquing his face to the stocking. There's a fair amount of embroidery here in his eyes, and so I will come back to show you how we're going to work on that as soon as I'm done sewing his nose down. No. All right, we are ready to embroider the face, and so we need to look carefully at Santa's eyes and at his eyebrows. Now his eyebrows are kind of like little flags or triangles, and that looks like this, and it says that's 4 strands of white, and it's just one straight stitch across there. Okay, so that's going to be pretty simple. Then it looks like we're going to outline Santa's eye with 1 strand of black, but in the center of Santa's eye, we have got black satin stitch, which is solid, and that is going to be with 2 strands. And then on the outside of that, we're going to have white satin stitch, and that is 2 strands. And then this little X in the middle is a single strand white French knot. That's kind of just the glint in his eye. So let's go ahead and work on his eyes. My troublemaker is back. Let's hope that he has settled down a bit this afternoon. So in order to start this, it is best to work from the center out, and we're going to put the French knot for the glint in his eye. That'll be the last thing that we do. So let's thread up a needle with black, and it's going to be 2 strands, and we're going to do this the black center of his eye. Whenever you are doing satin stitch, and especially when it's in something that's kind of a round shape, believe it or not, you're going to start in the center right here and work to one side and then come back and work to the other side. And that helps the roundness of your stitching to remain nice and round. So we're going to go down here, right through the center of this space. And we're just going to have to remember where that glint goes, or you can put it in wherever you want. And now you're going to come up and down as close to the stitch that you just did as possible, so that there's no felt showing in between these two. And that's why it's really called a satin stitch, is because it really covers all of the felt completely. We're almost there. I'll put one more very small stitch right at the edge there. Okay, and I'm going to turn it around, and I'm going to work from here. Oops, right. You have to kind of work at it to get your needle in the spot where you want, right there, across. And you can work an in and out stitch like this if you feel comfortable with that. Otherwise, just go up and down and up and down. And one last tiny little stitch there. And there is the black center of one eye. And I will go ahead and knot off because I need some more thread. And work on the other eye. I like to do the eyes, keep them both at the same stage. I don't know why, there's really no good reason for it, but that's just how I've always done it. So I will be back after I get the other eye done. Now we've got the two black centers of his eye done. And now we're going to go around the outside with this 2 strands of white. So I've got 1 strand of white threaded, and then I've brought the ends together and tied them into a knot so that I have 2 strands. And when you're working right against another bit of embroidery, it's really important where you choose to come up and down. So on this piece, I want to be sure that I'm going down next to the embroidery that I've already done. So I want to come up from that, and again, this is it's a round, but it's going to be a round, not across. So I'm going to start here. Actually, I'm going to start kind of here in the center and then work my way to the outside and then come back. So I'm going to be coming up here in the center and then going down right next to the embroidery in the black that I've done. If you try to come up from underneath right next to the black embroidery, you will very likely disturb that black satin stitch you've got nice and even and solid there, and sometimes even pull threads out almost out of place. So now I'm working this as a satin stitch, so I'm going to go absolutely as close to the previous stitch as I can. And it's pretty easy here because of the light color of the felt that we're not going to see through a whole lot, but this does help to make it look like he has white eyes and not some kind of a peachy colored eye. Now here I've come down to the side. I can come down a little ways there. And then remember that the entire eye gets outlined with a single black thread stitch, an outline stitch all the way around. So that does help to really make the outside of the eye have a better appearance of being really much more smooth and even, which can sometimes when I get done, I feel like the eye looks a little choppy. And now I can see a little bit of the black line still through there, so I'm going to go over it again with one more stitch to fill that in. That's much better. And now I'm going to go to this bottom section here, so I'm going to go working from the outside of the eye to the inside, so that I'm going down where my black satin stitch is and up on the very outside of his eye. And you cannot work this in and out. You really have to go up and down. And I didn't make that one quite as close as I would like. I'm going to come back over that one a little bit. think one more there, and then I will go around here and come back up and finish the top here. See how you can see it? It feels to me when I'm looking really closely at it that that it's a little choppy, and I don't really love it. But the truth is that when we get the black around the outside, it will help so much. You'll be amazed. That's how it looks when we are done there. I'm going to go ahead and knot it off. And since I have the white thread here, it says to use a single strand for the glint in his eye. So I'm going to tie my knot here in just one end. And we're going to use a French knot. And the little indication for the knot was kind of right here on both eyes, like he's kind of looking to the side. So we're going to come up right about where you think that indicator was, and then do a French knot, which goes around twice, and then go back down in right where you were. Hold your thread tight and pull it through. And it just gives you that little glint in his eye. And again, we have to knot off. There's always a great deal of detail in Santa's face, and that truly is what makes these stockings, one of the things that makes these stockings so special is his face is always got a lot of detail in it. So I'm going to go back and do the same thing on the other eye, and then we will probably do the black all the way around, and then we'll come back and do his eyebrows, and then we are done. Then we'll stuff it and attach it to the stocking. So I will show you as I keep going. So I'll finish this eye just like this one, and then I'll come back. Okay, I have both eyes finished except for going around. So we're going to go around with a single strand of black, and we're going to use the outline stitch. So I want to kind of start right here and work my way around. And you just have to be so careful not to pick up any of the satin stitches that you've already put in when you're doing this. So try to be just on the outside of them, and it does make it a little bit harder, as you can see, to get my needle through, because there are those stitches underneath there, kind of on the back side. Then when you get back around to where you were, just go straight down. And there you can see the difference between the two eyes. The eye that's been outlined looks far more animated and defined, and we'll go to this one next, and then we'll do the 4 strands of straight stitch for his eyebrows. But I will come back and just show you that straight stitch real quick, and then we'll be ready to apply his face. Okay, the last bit here is the eyebrows, and it said to thread up 4 strands. So I used 2 strands and pulled the ends together so that I have now a double of 2, which is 4. And it's just a straight stitch, so come up at one end of the eyebrow and go down right at the other. And then, since this is going to be attached to the stocking, I think it's okay to drag it across his face there and do the other eyebrow like that. And now we have finished Santa's face. And so I will knot this off, and I will stitch his face down to the stocking. Oops. And leaving probably, I'm thinking, the top of his head open here for the stuffing, and then stitch it all closed. And I'll be using that really light peach color thread in order to do that. So I will come back and let you see how it looks when it's put on the stocking. I just thought I would show you how I lined it up here, because it is important to get it lined up. Now we can see that his hat is going to come across here. We can see that his beard is going to be right here, and I lined that up where that will just be right there together. Make sure that you're covering all the white lines that indicate, because this line right here is going to be the beard that we apply, so that doesn't need to be covered. But I will stitch all the way around here and stop, and then give it some stuffing and stitch the top. All right, here we go. We are really getting a feel for Santa and his workshop here, his gingerbread baking. There we go. So this can be crossed off now that we have finished that one. It says, oh, and it says to add blush to the cheeks if desired. Now, I do always do this, and I have a red seamstress marker. It's a chalk marker, and I use that for the cheeks. And so the cheeks are going to come up right here, kind of just above where his mustache is and right by his nose. So you can see that it's very light. You don't want it to look like he's got makeup on or something, but you do it just above, kind of circularly, just above where his mustache is going to be, and just beside his nose, just kind of where your cheeks would get a little glow if you'd been out in the cold or if you were cooking and by the warm. So, and you could always add a little bit more at the end when you're done if you think, oh, that's kind of rubbed off. But this again is just a chalk pencil. I have it in the description of the video as tools, as one of the tools to use, so you can check that out. They're not expensive, but I do think it adds a cute little character to your stocking. So that means we really have done all that. Now we're going to check that off. Now we are on to embroider sequin stuff and applique the hat 28 to the stocking. Sequin and applique the hat band, 29. So 28 and 29. His hat is the next thing. So let's see. I'm sure he's got a baker's hat, and it's going to be white, as all good baker's hats should be. Yep, there it is, 28. So there's a lot of sequins and beads to be attached there. It looks like, if I remember right, the embroidery again is outline stitch, and I believe that this is with the light blue in this, but let me check and see just to be sure. Let's see, what does it show us? It says that this is kind of the light solid gray line, and that is this with light blue, but it looks also like light gray. So you could probably do either. When I look at the picture, I see that it looks like it's light blue to me, and that's frequently what we use in his beard and his other places there. So let's see, what does it show us here? It's the same here in his beard. And this is the line that was gray, that kind of hash line. So this is the light blue. We're going to use that. And that will be outline stitched here again. And again, always working like a smile. And it's nice that they made this so that we can do it pretty simply like that. So I'll come back once I have that all ready to be applied to the stocking. Here we are, back again. Sorry, covered up Santa's face. Here is his Santa's baker's hat, and as you can see, I used the blue here on this one, and it is going to just be placed down right there. I think I'm going to go all the way around it with stitching, leaving it open here to be able to get a good amount of stuffing in. Those baker hats need to look kind of puffy. So I will come back to you after I get it. What you need to watch, though, make sure that you cover the white lines, which I think it is doing right here, and make sure that you get a connection. Cover the black lines too. Make sure that it seems to connect in with his face. And we don't have to be too conscious about covering this black line right here, because we do have the hat band that's going to go over that. But I always think it's good if we can, whatever we can cover is usually the best bet. So I am going to pin this down, get it ready to stitch. Make sure that's covering there. And again, this white felt in my kit is very thick, so you do not have to go all the way through to the back side in places where you've got multiple layers there. Just go ahead and stitch it to where you have it, to wherever it touches. All right, I'll be back when I'm ready to stuff and let you see that process. Okay, as you can see, I did put probably a little more stuffing in the hat than I normally might have. Just wanted it to be kind of puffy. And it says that 29 gets sequins and then gets appliqued to the stocking. And it looks like 29, oh, here it is. It's a piece that's been cut away already. There we go. So I will just go ahead and cut this out, put on its sequins, and then I'll show you as it gets attached there to the top of the hat. I think the one thing that I'm going to need to be cautious of is making sure that his eyebrows stay below the rim of the hat so that they don't disappear underneath that. Okay, we'll be right back. Well, unfortunately, our friendly cat Finnegan walked over my computer and I lost some of the footage of attaching the hat band. But no big deal, it's just a straight attach, there's no stuffing, nothing. So now I have cut out Santa's beard. I have done the embroidery with the light blue thread again and the outline stitch, and then the next step it says to do is to actually cut out the mouth, this red piece, and sew it down to the beard without embroidery. So now we're going to begin to embroider it, and in fact this is truly the way to do it, because it would be very difficult to embroider this one very small thin piece of red felt, and now you can do it as a much thicker piece and do it while it's attached. So this is 2 strands of black thread, and just like the eyes, we are going to come up from the back right in the center of the mouth and work our way to one side, and then go back to the other side and work our way across. So here it doesn't matter which side you choose to come up or up on, because there's no other embroidery that we are trying to work against. But do make sure that your stitches are just outside of the white lines, wherever they are, so that they do in fact cover the white lines up. So that's my first stitch here in the center, and now I'm going to continue and move across to the outside corner of Santa's mouth. And again, keep these stitches very, very tight, almost on top of one another, but not quite. And also working just on the outside of the white line, and you'll work from one side until you get that all the way done, and then I turn the piece around and work from the center to the outside on the other side. All right, here is his beard finished, and it does say that after we get this part, we need to stuff it and applique it to the stocking. So this is another one of those pieces, like his suit piece, that I'm going to recommend stuffing, just kind of placing a thin layer of stuffing on the piece itself and then flipping it over to pin it down, because I think this piece might be rather difficult to be able to get the stuffing distributed evenly after stitching it down. So this is looks like kind of a lot. I'm not sure I want this much stuffing on here, but let's see what it looks like when we lay it down. No, it looks like it's going to be okay. I will need to, when you do stuff this way, you have to kind of work and tuck the the bits that hang out in as you sew. So we need to make sure that we cover this line here, because that's where the beard goes up here. And this line right here, that's his mustache line, so we leave that, but we do need to make sure that we're covering this line right here. So we want to get that down. And it looks like this is going to line up right here, and that's going to be part of his sleeve with his shoulder there. So you got a lot of stuffing hanging out right here that I need to try to get tucked in there. And I will most likely stitch the outside around first, and then when I come up here to the mustache area, I'll be able to tuck in any stuffing that maybe has decided to creep its way out. So let's see, and then here's this line right here, and these lines we need to make sure that we've got covered. But looks like it's all pretty well lined up right where it needs to be. Okay, now I will just go all the way around it with an applique stitch and then come back and we'll work the mustache, and I think that'll be it for this video. We're working on Santa's face. We'll be right back. All right, I have cut out both pieces of the mustache. So this is 32 and this is 33. And it is just an outline stitch there, or I think that's what they call it. All of a sudden I can't remember, with the light blue, and it's just right there. Now I'm going to stitch this edge closed and then add the little bit of stuffing in there, and then finish stitching it around, and then I will come right back and show you that I am going to stitch it onto the stocking, but just right here in the center. Okay, but I'll show you that when we get ready. All right, here is his mustache, finished and stuffed. There's not much stuffing in there. I put most of the stuffing in this part here, as opposed to trying to get it out to the ends. And I have brought my thread back to the center here. And now we're going to just place the mustache right over top of those black lines. And it's going to get stitched down just right in the center, just alongside of where the outline stitch is there in blue. And then if we need to, in order to be sure that these black lines don't show, we'll give it a little tack here and there, to be sure that the black lines from the indicated lines don't show. See, this one doesn't, but over here it's kind of popping up a little. And I think that in order to get it just right, I'm going to go back along the side, the other side of the mustache there. Oops. Okay, that holds it a little tighter, but I do want to put a tack right here to be sure that it stays in place and the black lines don't show. Yeah, that's good enough. And then it looks like I'm going to need to do the same thing on the other side. So I'm going to tack at the top of it right here. And it looks like it needs a little more, one more down, maybe even a third, because I can see this black right here. So I'm going to give it one more right there, just to be sure that it's not going to show. All right. Okay. And there you have Santa's face. He is finished. You've got the little rosiness in his cheeks. And so we finished up to stitches, I believe we're at 32 or 33. Not stitches, pieces. We have finished 33. And now we are ready to start working on the table, which will show up down here, and that will come in our next video. So this video was Santa's face, and there you have him. He's just jolly and wonderful. So God bless your day, and we'll see you on the next one.